Hey everybody, so today's video is going to be a little bit different, obviously by the title. I didn't want to just kind of fit this into a video. I wanted to kind of make a separate video and kind of just talk about my stance. Not necessarily my stance, just I guess my approach to everything that's going on. Obviously I am horrified by the things that I've been learning the past, month or so. I'm horrified by everything that's happening in the news. I mean, it's intense. I first want to kind of start this video off by saying that I think that we need to be a little more gracious with each other and extend more grace. I'm going to ask for grace in this video because I won't get it right all the time, but I've noticed and I've picked up that it's more important to talk about it and get it wrong than to not talk about it at all. And part of that is having grace with people. I hope that you can understand that, especially with social media and especially with the internet, there's a good way to take everything and there's a bad way to take everything. And if you look at someone and just hear their words, you could go either way with what they're saying. But if you listen to them and you hear their heart for the situation, then you can really make a difference in that impact that you can have on them, on their mindset, on their perspective. And that's what I'm going to ask for in this video, is that you would see my heart for this problem and for this, horrific thing that is in our country and that has been in our country, and know that I'm actively trying to make a difference. So another thing I feel like is important to keep in mind whenever we are talking about things like this is that no one's approach is the same. And especially I've tried to really talk with my Black friends that have been comfortable talking about, what's your approach? What is your perspective? What are your experiences? And no one has the same one. And I know we've heard it all, like Black people are not monolith. Like they think differently. They have different ways of approaching and different ways of attacking things. And so I think it's important to also have grace with different approaches. My approach is always and will always be gospel centered. I always want to approach this the way that the Bible tells me to approach this and the way that the Spirit is leading me to approach this issue. If you do not hold those values, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure that you're approaching this in a different way, and I value that you're approaching this differently because there is so much power in attacking something from all angles. And so I think if we can really hit this on every front, like we can really do some damage to the racism that's in our country and in our world. So I guess the first thing that I have made sure to do and to continue to do is to educate myself on things that are happening. And in the description box below, this is a reason why I want to keep this really short. I've put a bunch of resources that have been absolutely pivotal to my education on this issue. A lot of them are Christian pastors that have talked on this situation. I love that Mike Todd, who is a Black pastor in Tulsa, he's doing a conversation. Stephen Furtick did that with John Gray. And my pastor also, Kevin Reed, he did an amazing sermon on Sunday about that really hit this issue, and I think helps with at any point that you're at with what's going on to really just dive into the word and see what it says about racism and everything that's in our country and approaching that. So that description box will be full of information. I'm spending more time on the description box than I am on this video to make sure that you have resources to be educated on what's going on. If you are white and you just, it's hard, I can't understand unless I educate myself. The next thing, obviously, we've kind of seen that after you educate, the most important thing is to act on what you've learned, because that's where the power and that's where the change happens. And I'm taking this in the route of, if I can change myself, if I can change how I feel about this, and I can talk to others about how they feel about it, and maybe even shift some perspectives that need shifting, and talk with my Black friends about their experiences if they're comfortable with doing that, that can do so much that I don't think we're giving enough power and enough voice to. Just having conversations, like mind shifting conversations with people, can do so much. And I think this is kind of the next thing I want to talk about, is social media's role. I know people, and I'm going to leave people in the description box, that have been so active on social media, and they have helped me learn so much. I am still making sure that I am reposting if I find something that I think is so helpful to understand more, that I'm reposting on my story, and things like that. But I have also kind of been convicted personally. This won't work. This isn't everybody's, way of thinking, but I've personally been convicted about my role as a social media activist. I just don't know that that's what God's calling me to. And I know that sounds super cliche and super Christian, whatever. I think that there are some people that won't work for. I think that there may be people that I need to speak to that will shut me down if I am incredibly active on social media about it. I pray before I post. I recommend that you, if you're a Christian, do the same thing. Please pray before you post. With social media, I've seen a lot of is this cancel culture. And I think especially, I won't speak to like the Black community on that, because I just don't feel like it's my place. But as far as white people, I think that we need to stop mostly with this whole cancel culture of, if you don't think like me, then we can't be friends. Or if you don't see eye to eye on this with me, then unfollow me. Or, I'm unfriending you on Facebook. I've seen that so many times, and where I see how it's easier to do, all you're doing is causing division. All you're doing is dividing your opinions from someone else's. And the reason why that's so dangerous is because, why? I'm speaking to white people right now. If you do that, you are literally going to get nowhere with this beast that we're trying to upend. I've seen a lot of people that came into this situation guns blazing at, like, there is no racism, everyone's complaining. And I have seen a heart shift in them because of people that didn't give up on them and people that loved them through their hatred. And I have, oh my goodness, like, I literally see people and I think that's a miracle on how their perspective has shifted. So, and that is a big reason why I'm just not going to be a part of that cancel culture. And I can learn to understand that someone holds a different opinion than me, and understand that the way to maybe end up fixing that issue is to love them through it. Another reason, and this is kind of the last thing I want to talk about, that I feel like it's really kind of dangerous to talk on social media about stuff like this, is that, like I said in the beginning of this video, you can take anything that someone says and you can go a good way or you can go a bad way with it. We have to be very poised on social media because people don't know us. They don't have a relationship with us, and therefore it's hard to understand their heart if you don't know who they are. And so that's another reason why I've kind of pulled back on social media. I've seen people take things out of context, and that's just another reason why I want to but I want to influence my circles, because if I can influence my circle and they influence theirs, like, we can make such a big impact. Like I said, I'm not just not posting because I don't want to. I post whenever I feel that it's necessary. I hope to do more YouTube videos that can kind of help, and maybe can help some white people understand a little bit better, because we are in the same boat here, and we want, especially if you're fighting this beast, then we are in the same boat, and we have certain ways to approach this that may be different from the way that Black people can approach this. So I'm going to make sure that I'm having conversations. I don't want that to stop. I also don't want this to just be a hype where I'm pushing about all the time and then I get burned out. Like, I want to keep my energy consistent throughout the years that it's going to take to upend everything. I mean, maybe even decades, who knows. But I know that I want change. I know that we need change, and whenever I think about all of the friends and family that this has impacted for me, like, it's unreal and it's unacceptable. And I want you to know that if you are black or of a different color than my skin tone, I am so sorry for what this country has done to you, to your spirit. I hope that you know that you are so worthy of love and acceptance, even if the justice system, even if the world or the country or some people may not see it like that. That I think that you're beautiful. I think that you're worthy. I think that you are, that you deserve acceptance and that you deserve equality. And I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that a reality for you and for your children. I love you. If you're watching this video, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day, that you put down the phone when it needs it, and that you have real intense conversations with the people in your life that can really help bring some empathy to this situation and to this horrific time in our country. I love you, and I will talk to you in the next video.